across the fjords, I'd see huge packs of them. I mean, they were everywhere. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds everywhere. But my friend said that they were domesticated ones, those ones. But it was beautiful because, you know, the fog, and then the truck goes way up over the hill, and then way down along the beach with all the houses, and then instead of going along the thing, it does the shortcut way over the mountain, and then you see, you know, all of these glaciers there, and we had to take the boat, put the bus on some boat to go across the fjord to the other side, you know, and you see glaciers everywhere and huge mountains, and so everything's green, and you know, how beautiful houses. It was just beautiful. Would have been amazing. Probably the most amazing place to bike tour. But whatever, I had to meet my brother. And to be honest, I wasn't planning on riding there anyway. Originally I was, but then I wasn't, just to save time. So, but anyways, yeah, if you want to bike tour the most amazing place, you got to do up there, if you can afford it. So, yeah, but it took me for like 4 days just to get there, because I had to take that bus, and then I had to stay in some other town called, I can't remember, but it had a really cool ski resort. It had 2 ski resorts right on the town, and the town was like right on the ocean. And then one of the ski resorts looked pretty good. And for some reason I got confused, and I thought that the exchange rate was like 6.7 kroners to the dollar when it was really 16.7 freaking kroners to the dollar. So shit was a lot more expensive. Excuse my French. Stuff was a lot more expensive than I thought. And yeah, because I went into some bar. Well, I saw a movie, which is $15. They went to a bar and I got a beer, which was $15 for one beer in this freaking hotel bar place where I was doing the internet before. Oh no, I wasn't doing the internet. Yes, I was doing the internet. Yeah, that's how much they go. But I didn't know that at the time. I found that out later. And then I was like, all right, so my next bus had to leave at 7 in the morning. So I went over to the bus station in the parking lot, and I just kind of sat there. And I put my sleeping bag over me. And so I was really cold, but I wasn't like suffering that bad. And then at like 4 in the morning or something, I see these like 3 like 17-year-old kids like raising hell, dude, like running, woo, trying to open up car doors and shit, you know. And then they notice me, and they're like, what? And they come over to me, and they're like, ended up hanging out with me all the way from 4 in the morning until like 7 when my bus left. Like 3 hours or something. And they were fascinated by me. They were like asking me all these questions, and they were telling me stuff about, you know, I guess there were these kids who went there from the like next town, and they didn't have any money, and they brought their own alcohol with them, and they let me drink some of it, and it was like gas. It was the strongest shit I ever had in my life, man. Even stronger than the vodka that the Russians gave me in Ukraine. They had been drinking that, I guess. I didn't want any more. And they're like, yeah, Norway is expensive, but fuck this place. It's fucking cold. And they knew how many kroners it was to the dollar, and everybody in Europe in Norway knew that, except I didn't. Oh, but before that, I went to a disco place, and that closed at like 2. And there was this one Norwegian guy who was buying me beers, and they were like $10 each there, a little bit cheaper than the other place, but he wanted to buy me another one. So yeah, Norwegians are really generous, or they have a lot of money. So that was cool. And then yeah, and then those kids, like, they left. One of them was a Sammy. The Sammy actually guy was the one who was the most talkative, but they were cool. They ran out, and I guess they found a dumpster behind the supermarket, which was next to the bus station or something, and they came back with all this food. Like, they gave me like 7 huge white chocolate bars and orange juices and bread and all this stuff. And it was really cool because before that they were like, we're starving, oh my god, and then they found their food, so that was pretty cool. And then yeah, so I got on the bus, and then I took the bus down to some other town, hung out in that town all day, and then I got to take the train. That was when I got south enough to get the train. Took the train. Freaking expensive. They charged like an extra $30 just for my bike. It was like $140. I ended up spending $400 just to get the transportation from wherever, from Kartikane from Karasjok to Trondheim. But I saw some amazing territory, and I didn't destroy my body, which was already pretty hurt, my butt anyways, and my knees actually were hurting too. And yeah, I got to Trondheim, and I had managed to tell my brother exactly when I was going to get there because I was on the internet the day before. And so my brother had gotten there the night before, and so he met me there that morning at the bus at the train station. And so we hung out all day in Trondheim, which is a really beautiful town in Norway. I guess it's the third biggest city in Norway after Bergen and Oslo. Right on the ocean, college town, with a river going through it, really pretty. And he had stayed couch surfing there the night before because he met some people who he'd couch surfed with. He was guests with them at some other house, and bumped into him, and they were like, "Yeah, we're couch surfing at some dude's house. Come with us." So he went, and the other guy let him stay there too. So yeah, my brother had been bike touring through Europe or traveling for the last 6 months, and the last 4 or 3 months or something like that in Europe, from doing the opposite tour as me. He landed from Asia. He went to Athens and then rode his bike up from Athens through Italy and Germany to Norway, and I did it the opposite way. But so yeah, I met him, and then my friend. Eric Nevin, my best friend from freshman year at Fort Lewis College, Durango, before he transferred to CU and married a Norwegian chick and moved to Norway. Lives in Trondheim, so my brother and I went and hung out, met him at his house and hung out with him from Thursday until Tuesday when my brother left, because my brother wanted to leave Norway and go to England and do more bike touring. But anyway, he changed his mind and ended up just flying home. He's really spontaneous that way. But yeah, hung out with him, my brother and my buddy. But that weekend, my friend, Eric, went off to a bike race. It was the Scandinavian Masters Championship, because he got second in nationals, and so they put him on the team even though they didn't realize he wasn't Norwegian. And yeah, so he went to the Scandinavian Championship, and his wife Anne, who's a computer scientist, figuring out how to get the best streaming so that you can do I guess Skype or something, and then lectures about that. Went off to a running race because she's a cross country runner. So my brother and I, we got to watch their house all weekend and hang out. That was cool. And then, yeah, they came back, and Anne had won $485 at the race, and Eric won, even though he was sick, and even though he caught the breakaway, even though his teammate was in it, and then dropped him, they were nowhere in sight. Kicked ass. Cool. And yeah, so then we hung out. So then my brother left, and then I went riding with Eric, and it was cool to ride with him because I know he's the strongest guy in Scandinavia, between the ages of 30 and 40. And just because I wanted to test my legs, because I felt like I was getting stronger. I've been riding for 4 months. And it was the district time trial championships, and we went over to the which he didn't race because I guess he was hanging out with me, and we went over to the course, and he was hanging out with those guys riding the course, and there's all these guys. So hundreds of guys. Did some ride, 2-hour ride. Oh, but I did a ride with my brother, a 2-hour ride with my brother that weekend. And my brother was riding freaking strong. I couldn't drop him. I had to pour all the water out of my water bottle so that I could try and drop him, and finally did on a climb. But he had a way heavier bike than me. He had a touring bike with 3 racks on it. So he should be doing this race with me. Anyways, yeah, I went riding with my friend. He totally smoked me on the 2 climbs, though, gone. Just playing with me. But he told me I was fucking strong, so that was definitely encouraging. And I got to ride his, his extra 15-pound bike, which is cool. And so then, yeah, I was actually there for a week and a half, because just hanging out with he and Ann. They had, 3-year-old kids, 6-son, 5-year-old daughter. Hang out with them, they go off to work, and I'd do their yard work and clean up their house and wash their windows and stuff, pick the weeds and mow the lawn, and then the next weekend and went off to a running race, broke the course record, and won $1,300. And Eric and I, oh wait, yeah, hung out. Camped in some like teepee that the Samis had invented called a something or other, but they're really cool. They're these like canvas things, and they're teepees. You can open the top because we had this big fire that connected to the pole. So you just throw all these woods in, and it's this big tube like this. So you just throw the wood in, the wood burns, it just falls down into the thing, and so you can keep throwing it in. So it was cool, man, all night long. And he says he does like ice fishing with that thing. It'd be so cool because you can be so cozy, and you know the fire doesn't touch the ice or anything, and the ice is like this thick anyways. And he does it like right on the lake that's like 2-minute walk from his house. The place is amazing. There's like 7 different kinds of edible berries there, 2 of which we picked, and we got like huge buckets full and just eating them. Nom, nom, nom. And 7 different kinds of edible mushrooms, 3 different kinds of magic mushrooms that grow all over the place. I mean, Norway is really cool. And they're badasses there too. But I guess I'll say that what I think about Norwegians. Yeah, so it was cool. And then I left. And then so I was fresh after, because I needed some time off because my butt was like thrashed. And my knees were thrashed too. And my butt was muscle. Something was wrong. So yeah, I got on my ride. And I rode that day and went into Hessedalen. It's the UFO capital of Scandinavia. It's where all these, if you type Hessedalen, Hessedalen, there's like lights every night up there. So I went over there to check it out. Oh, look, it's a cyclist. Fuck yeah, man. Other bikers out here. It's on a Monday, too. And I talked to some lady. She's like, yeah, the lights are right up there at the top of the hill. I was the first person to see them. You know, just look up to the top of the hill and you'll see them. So I went to sleep, but it's, you know, it's so far north that it didn't get dark until late. So I was like, I'll get up when it gets dark. But I passed out and I didn't get up. So I didn't get to see the light. Fucking idiot. A lot of weird shit goes on, man, in Hessedalen. Like, one guy, like, found, like, a big, huge 1,000-pound chunk of dirt, got chopped out of the earth there and dumped, like, 30 feet away or something, and it was cut with lasers. You know? Trippy place. So then I got on the bike and I rode, and it was... And, like, something weird happened to my cat-eye computer. It just suddenly stopped working. Even though I got a new battery. No, I got the new battery later, and it still didn't work, but... I rode all night, all day and all night. I'm looking for the biker to pop up the other side because he was going this way through the trees. There he is. Oh, he's a slow guy. Yeah, I ride all day, but it's raining cats and dogs, dude, and windy as fuck. Gale force winds in my face and rain. But I had the music on, so I didn't get to hear the noise, which was, I mean, hearing the noise would be disconcerting, but hearing the music, it was like, all right, whatever, I don't care, because I had the clothes and I was okay. And by then, and I'm going to talk about this in another video, when I talk about a video about it all bunched together, but by then I was a hard ass. Like, I didn't care about weather. It was cool, man. You get tougher and tougher as you go along on the bike tour. So I rode all day, all night, and then stopped at like 10 o'clock the next day, because it was like, it was still... I could barely see, but it was still light enough to see. So I decided to ride all night. It was a full moon, too. It was the last full moon, about a month ago. Because the most recent full moon was just like 2-3 days ago. Rode, yeah, until like 11 or like 10. And I got food, but then I like did that pass out thing again. I put my head down and passed out for like 3 hours. Like, what? And then I get up and I rode until like 4. And I don't know how many miles it was. And then I decided to camp at like 4:30 because I just got bored, you know. And I got the next day and I rode a little bit, not far, and then my chain started slipping again. So this time it was my chain and my cassette that I needed to replace. And this chain and cassette I had bought in Skopje, in the capital of Croatia. I'll think of it later. So that's how many miles that lasted, but I'll talk about that in the other video. So I got another, well... and that was about 80 miles from 150 kilometers from Stockholm. So I tried to take the train in. I had to wait like an hour or two.